I see that we have reached the casually calling for disabled people to be beaten up part of humanity's decline. So for anyone who doesn't know, a man with Tourette's called John Davidson, who had a film made about him called I Swear, was at the BAFTAs last night, and while Delroy Lindo and Michael B. Jordan were on stage, screamed the N-word. Now, am I here to say that black people are not allowed to be offended at the use of this word? Absolutely bloody not. What I am here to talk about, however, is that I'm seeing a lot of questions which are, quite frankly, out of complete ignorance. The first question is, how did he know this word to shout it? This is, quite frankly, a stupid question. The man's in his 50s, we've all heard the N-word, whether it's a Tarantino film, rap music, or from other actually racist people, we've all heard the N-word, and we all know that it is the worst possible thing that you can call a black person. The second question is, why did he only shout this when there were two black people on stage and not throughout the night, insinuating that this must be part of his everyday vocabulary, that he must be racist, or that he wanted to shout it and the Tourette's just blurted it out for him. Now, John's condition takes the form of something called coprolalia, which makes you say the most inappropriate things at the most inappropriate time. For example, this man literally said, "fuck the Queen," as he was right in front of the Queen. Many years ago, I watched a documentary about a girl who had the exact same condition going through an airport, and because it was the most inappropriate thing she could possibly say, the thing that came out her mouth was "bomb, bomb, I have a bomb." If we are using the same logic that John used this word because it's part of his everyday vocabulary and he must be racist, then it must logically follow that this girl did this because she must be a terrorist who frequently bombs airports, and that is, quite frankly, preposterous. John did not say this word because he wanted to. He said it because he was in an extremely anxious situation and he knew that it was the worst thing he could possibly say, and that is why the Tourette's forced it out of his mouth. He is not racist, he is disabled. Now again, no one has any right to tell black people how they should feel about this. That word has so much history, shame and trauma associated with it that obviously they're going to be upset hearing it shouted out on a live award show. What is also not okay, however, is to say that a disabled man should be beaten up and punished for having a disability and to further stigmatise a condition which the people who made I Swear have worked so hard to destigmatise and educate people about. One thing you have to remember is that social media thrives on hatred, it thrives on arguments, and it thrives on controversy. Two things can be true at once. Black people are allowed to be upset at hearing this word, and people with Tourette's are allowed to leave the house and exist without fear that they're going to be punished for having a disability. A little kindness and a little compassion really does go a long way.